My name is Sue Baugh, and I live in the Chicago area. And like many of you, I have been exploring all my life for something special that coordinates and consolidates all the areas of my life. Now, again, like many of you, I've probably had three tracks in my life that I've been looking to converge. One of them, a very successful corporate career in educational publishing. For about 40 years, I've been working on how people learn and creating content for them. The other track has been exploring the esoteric in religion, in philosophy, in science, to understand a little bit deeper about the reality that underlies the reality that I've seen. The third track has been spontaneous experiences. And I'm sure many of you, and you know who you are, have had these as well. Spontaneous experiences of communication with animals, with plants, with beings that you may or may not know the source of. Between people, maybe you've gotten messages from a relative or someone else and you have no explanation of how that communication happened. So my search has taken me to various places and various communities that purported to have some kind of visionary drive behind them and to create some kind of universal university. And each time I found they were fairly limited, either by the character of the founders or by the concept. And then I ran across a book by Jean White-Eagle, Eyes Open. And the minute I read this book, I had an instant response. This is it. So I dug in a little deeper. I actually met the founders. I spent a workshop with them. I understood how they worked. I got a feel for their integrity. And I got a feel for the work that they're dedicated to do. And I was impressed. They not only had corporate experience, but they had raised families. And as many of you know, there is no stronger test of spiritual development than being in a family. I always tell people, if you think you've advanced spiritually, visit home and see what happens. So the more I delved into this book and the vision, and the more I talked with John and Jean, the more I began to see this university is actually there. So to me, it's already existing. It's just doing the hard work to make it a reality. It converges not only science, which I deeply love, but the esoteric, alternate, sort of like different aspects of reality, and the extraterrestrial, which many of us, and you know who you are, have had either contact with or have been intrigued by for most of our lives. So all of these three converging in a university setting seemed unbelievably appealing. And the more I began to work with people who joined this effort, the more I began to see this was quite an unusual collection of people with diverse talents, backgrounds, ages, interests, and experience, willing to put themselves out on the line, even against maybe some of the opinions of their friends or family, and make this future a possibility now. And so the feeling is this is something from the future, but it's in the present, and it's up to us to make it happen. So imagine, if you will, you're in a school or a university city, an interstellar university city, where all ages can learn who they really are, where we come from, where we will return, where the understanding is that the only thing you take with us when we leave this earth is what you've learned and how you've lived. Now imagine a school founded on those principles, where the development of character matters as much as learning how to calculate the velocity of light, or understanding that light is more than velocity, that light can also communicate and teach. Imagine being in a classroom where children are observed by elders to see what their development can be, what they're drawn to, and then help foster and explore that particular affinity. Imagine you're a teenager and you have decided you really don't know what you want to do in life, but you have this strange affinity for talking to plants. And imagine you're in a class that can not only develop that ability, but where the plants can be your teachers. Imagine you love science, and all of a sudden you have a different purpose for the science that you love. It's not so much what can we do, but if we can do it, should we? Where you're asking questions about purpose and meaning, about the full circle of any scientific development. What is the end result and how do we deal with the waste? Imagine a university where everything is alive, where everything is your teacher, where you can communicate with everyone and everything, where you can express yourself fully, not just your own abilities, but the abilities you don't know you have that can be awakened in this place. And imagine a university where the building itself is part of the teaching and the learning, not only its beauty, but its function. Well, if this appeals to you, as it did to me, then I suggest you might be involved in this work even now, before you even knew about it. I would encourage you to pick up the book, Eyes Open. It's available easily. I would encourage you to communicate with John and Jean through email or through their workshops, which they will hopefully begin once the COVID is under control. They're extraordinary people, and you will have an extraordinary experience with them. I would also encourage you to think about donating to this university. If you can't give your time, if you can't give your energy, perhaps you can give your money to facilitate bringing this entire project into reality. If you want adventure in your life, this will be the wildest adventure you might ever have. Go within, see if this checks out with your affinity, with your desires, with your longings. Does this match what you have felt deeply inside, but never had a place for? If it does, join us. We would love to have you. I'm a person who likes to do practical results. So if you join someone like me and others like me, we will actually produce this. We have no interest in keeping this an abstract concept with nice ideas. We want to see this building. We want to see these online courses right now, immediately developed and out in the world. This is a chance for humanity to advance in a startling way. We need this. Chaos, what we're experiencing now, is generally the system out of which new things arise. And this is a time like no other, where we are on the cusp of an amazing advance in humanity and in our possibilities, in our connections with those outside of our planet who have been waiting for us to reach this point. Maybe they've waited because it's not safe for them to contact us. Maybe they're waiting for us to grow up, to get the vision that we really need. And I think at this point, this vision of an interstellar university is one you can get behind. So if you like what you hear, if you have felt inside yourself that this type of facility, this type of enterprise is something that you would like to join and be part of, we would love to have you. At the very end, it's all about what you've learned. It's all about what you give and what you take with you to a next life, to another realm. So thank you.